Hey friends, welcome back to the Grace-Filled Leader podcast, where we're all about helping you achieve balance and abundance in every aspect of your life. And today we're tackling a topic that is often overlooked but absolutely essential for creating harmony and peace. And this is one we haven't really tackled on this show, but I've gotten a little nerdy in my own life in lasering in on this a bit, and it's pretty powerful, and that is balancing your budget. Yes, you heard that right. By taking control of your finances, you can create more balance in your life and pave the way for greater freedom, security, and fulfillment. So, grab a pen and paper because we're about to dive into some practical tips and insights to help you balance your budget and create a life that you love. So let's get started. Hey, busy lady. Are you ready to transform your relationship with time and live a life of purpose and abundance? Then you won't want to miss my upcoming workshop, Time Management Makeover. It is coming to you live this week, Thursday, February 29th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. In this live event, I'll be sharing 4 transformative steps to help you create more time with less guilt so that you can finally achieve the work-life balance you've been craving. It's time to stop letting time manage you and start taking control of your schedule. Ready to make a change? Head to the link in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/workshop to register for free and take the first step toward a life of freedom and fulfillment. Oh, and P.S., the workshop will be available on replay for anyone who registers, but only for a limited time. So grab your spot today. Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever but never really felt good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Do you want more time for the things that matter most? Well, you are in the right place. Here on the Grace-Filled Leader podcast, we focus on spirit-driven success and share the secrets to having better work-life balance as a busy woman in leadership. Here you will learn how to set boundaries like a boss, find peace of mind, and reclaim your time for the things that matter most. Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, and certified Christian life coach. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. I spent decades people-pleasing and pouring myself into my work. I was looking for my value through the approval of others. This led me to feel burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I realized that I was wasting time and energy looking for validation in all the wrong places. But my life changed when I finally surrendered and God showed me a different way. It is my mission to help you start living the abundant life God has for you. If you're ready to become fueled by grace and find freedom from people-pleasing, if you're ready to multiply your time and impact as a Christian woman in leadership, this podcast is for you. Roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it. First, we need to understand the connection between finances and a balanced life. Well, money plays a significant role in our lives, and financial stress can have a profound impact on our overall well-being. When our finances are out of balance, whether it's overspending or debt or living paycheck to paycheck, it truly does spill over into other areas of our lives, which causes stress and anxiety and overwhelm and even creates strain on our relationships. Achieving financial balance isn't about just having a certain amount of money in the bank. It's about aligning your spending and your saving habits with your values and priorities. Now, how does that sound familiar? We talk all the time about balancing our lives and balancing our time and our schedule. And what do we always say is the guidepost or the compass when it comes to determining what belongs on our calendar? our core values and our priorities. When your finances are in balance, you feel more in control of your money and your life. You're able to make intentional choices that support your longer-term goals and bring you closer to the life that you desire. So I'm going to talk through a few practical strategies for balancing your budget. First, you need to assess your current financial situation. Start by taking a clear-eyed look at your current financial situation. What are your sources of income, your expenses, your debt, your recurring bills, and your savings? You can use tools like budgeting apps or spreadsheets to track your income and your expenses and gain a more comprehensive understanding of where your money is going. Or you can use a good old-fashioned paper and pen and basically use your bank statements, your credit card statements, all of those things, and just take some time to sit down and truly pencil it out. The best way to get a real picture is to ideally look at your whole year in retrospect, or at least I would suggest looking 60 to 90 days and just get an idea of what your spending habits are and what you can anticipate for expected income. So you need to get your money on paper, people. Next, you want to identify your values and priorities. So take time to reflect on what the values and priorities are for your life as it relates to your money. So what matters most to you? Is it your family, of course, your health, your career, your life experiences? And you want to align your spending habits with your values by planning and directing more of your resources toward the things that bring you joy and fulfillment, and cutting back on expenses that really don't align with your priorities, and maybe it's just kind of waste that you haven't taken the time to pay attention to. You are probably spending money you don't even know you're spending, if you're anything like me, because you're busy, you're tired, you're overwhelmed, you've signed up for some things that maybe were free for a month or a year, and then they went on auto pay and you just forgot and you didn't take the time to go back and cancel them. Okay, how many people can relate? Come on now, raise your hands. Well, yeah, I'm discovering several of those things as I take myself through this exercise. So, anyway, don't be ashamed. Don't be shooting all over yourself. Just get the information, put it on paper, really key into what your values and priorities are for your life and therefore your finances. And then next comes creating a realistic budget. Based on your income, your expenses, and your financial goals, you'll need to create a realistic budget that outlines how you'll allocate your money each month. When you do this, it's very important that you think about your whole year and determine how much you need each month that will add up to those yearly things that come. You know, not everything we pay is by the month. We have many subscriptions or certain kinds of bills. Maybe it's your insurance that we pay either every 6 months or every year. But to really effectively plan and budget for that, you really should be determining how much you need to allocate each month so that you already have that money when that annual bill comes. Be sure to include categories when it comes to your budgeting, categories for necessities like housing expenses, food, gas, transportation. But you also want to list out any discretionary spending that you either routinely do or want to do. You want to really have a plan for those things that are, you know, whether it's travel, vacations, for us girls, it's our hair, it's our nails, maybe you get a massage every month or a manicure or a pedicure. And that's truly important to you and your quality of life. Don't feel like you have to just be stingy and only spend on the necessary bills. If your finances allow for it, while allowing for some savings, it's important that you live the life that you want to live within reason. So be sure that you're taking into account all of those kinds of discretionary spending that you do. I really had to take a hard look at the biggest one for me, honestly, is my Amazon spending, because, all those points we earn is like free money, and then the convenience of the subscribe and save. Like, I was getting more paper towels than I need to use in a lifetime because I'd forget to to skip my subscription. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole. But you need to look at all of your spending, and you need to make sure that you start to create a plan for all of it. And I missed saying this, but you need to have savings goals. And really, some of your savings goals are tied to those eventual spending goals, like travel or things like that, or household maintenance, like the unexpecteds, that like maybe the roof needs to be repaired or the furnace goes out, things like that. It's really important that you start to budget in a way that doesn't assume that, oh, shoot, you'll have to figure out when it happens. You're really planning for those things that are otherwise, quote, unexpected, and you're setting aside that money. So, creating a realistic budget. And I'm going to use future episodes to go into more detail as I kind of hone this in my own life. But here's the other thing, which I'm learning. I thought that I was budgeting before, when really what I was doing is just kind of retroactively keeping, keeping track of my spending. So I used to budget based on the paycheck, and then I'd have certain bills that I'd plan on, allocating or paying that happened before the 15th of the month, and then bills that happened after the 15th of the month. And then I'd sort of hope that I'd have something to save after I paid the credit card bills and all of the things. But aside, credit card spending is actually a part of this budgeting process that I'm getting away from, because it's kind of uncontrolled spending, because you just sort of cha-ching. And then usually when it comes to sitting down and balancing my checkbook and writing out the bills, I am almost always spending more on my credit cards than I've sort of planned on in my, quote, budgeting. And the goal is to get away from pretty much anything that's unexpected, but instead really just having buckets and plans that have you having the resources that you need. So budgeting really should be done on a prospective, is that the right word? Instead of retrospective, sort of prospective or proactive. In other words, budgeting shouldn't be about looking back and seeing what you spend. It should be about planning forward based on the resources that you have available to you in regards to your income. Okay, so there's creating a realistic budget. In other words, creating a budget that accounts for your goals and your bills, your spending and your saving goals. Once you have a budget in place, you need to track your spending regularly to be sure that you're actually staying on track and aligning to your budget. Because eventually you really want to set things up in a way that's fairly automated, because that's where the time saving comes in. So for a while, you really need to track the spending and see if your budgeting is going as you planned. And then you need to be flexible and willing to adjust your budget as you need to based on what you're noticing in your spending, or if your income changes. Maybe it's not consistent bi-weekly or monthly income. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, so you have sort of a roller coaster when it comes to income. Maybe your expenses change based on the season. Here in Minnesota, our electric bill and our propane bill goes way up in the wintertime as compared to the summertime. So you need to be prepared with a budget that allows for that. And also you want to be aware of and track and respond to your financial goals. Next, you want to prioritize debt repayment and savings. So if you have debt, you want to make a plan to pay it off as quickly as possible. You might want to consider strategies like the debt snowball or avalanche method to accelerate your progress. Now, we sort of went by the Dave Ramsey approach to paying off debt, where the idea is you kind of pay the minimum payment on some of your debt while you maximize payment on one debt at a time. So let's say you're going to focus on, and if I remember correctly, you kind of focus on your smallest debt first. So let's say you have a credit card that has a balance carried over of $1,000, and then you've had some other things like a car loan or a mortgage or student loans. Well, take that credit card debt, especially because it has exponentially higher interest than any of your other debts probably. You're going to pay your minimum payment on your other debts, and you're going to take all the rest that you have left over for debt repayment, and you're going to put it toward that credit card so that you pay that stinking credit card bill that has 25% interest or whatever. You pay it off quicker. Then you take the amount that you were paying on that credit card, and you take that snowball or that lump of money and you put it towards your next debt that you're going to focus on. So maybe it's paying off your car. You're going to keep paying your minimum payment on your mortgage and your other bigger debts, but you're going to take all the things all the money that you were paying toward various debts and toward this credit card payment. You're going to take all of that now and pay a bigger payment each month on your car until you have your car paid off. Then you're going to take all that combined money that you were once putting toward your credit card and your car loan, and you're going to take all of that money each month and you're going to put it toward your mortgage debt. So you see where you're sort of building this snowball or this avalanche of money that you're gradually going to put toward one debt and then the other till you get to a place of being debt-free, or at least lower debt. Similarly, you want to prioritize savings by setting aside a portion of your income each month to save for emergencies or retirement and other long-term goals, or saving for home repairs, or maybe you're saving for new furniture and you're not going to get that furniture until you have enough in your home savings account to go buy that furniture in cash. So, this is sort of just the tip of the iceberg on this idea around balancing or budgeting your finance to create more balance in your life. Once you really get a handle on this, you're going to have so much more hope and peace around your financial situation, and you're going to start to set things up in a way that is more automated, so you're going to be spending less time. And isn't that what most of you came here for? You want to spend less time doing things you don't want to do so that you have more time to do the things you do want to do. And budgeting your money and balancing your budget and having consistent processes in regard to your money is going to also save you time. So, you have just taken the first step toward creating more balance in your life by balancing your budget. By aligning and taking control of your finances and aligning your spending habits with your values and priorities, much like when you budget your time, you are setting yourself up for greater peace, greater freedom, and greater fulfillment. Remember, achieving financial balance is very much a journey, so show yourself grace. This is not a destination. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress along the way. And until next time, keep striving for balance and abundance in every area of your life. And I wish for you days that are filled with gratitude, peace, and God's amazing grace. I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.